Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is my second video in my series, Life Lessons I Am Learning, and I wanted to dive into this topic. I want to talk about the two communication tools in dating that is so important, that make sure that you and the other person is heard and validated throughout, and that's what fosters and makes a relationship grow. That kind of work that you put in, it takes time for both sides to have the patience to understand each other, and I feel it is so important. First, I'm not going to jump right into it. I first want to just discuss the idea of dating, getting out there. I feel that when you start, it's so important after, many people are watching now. They've been dating for a couple of years, maybe just started over the past few months or a year. It is so good, first of all, to just see what your pattern is. It is so important also to be self-aware. Some people complain, some people talk to me sometimes and they complain that their dating life is not what they want it to be. But then when we take a look at what's happening, what the guys are saying, there is a pattern going on, and some people don't want to take responsibility and put in the work to make sure they are bringing their best to the table, and I think that's so important. I'm all about accountability, you changing your behavior and building your foundation of a life that makes you happy, and then the right person that you meet at the right time is someone who will add value to your life. It's not someone where you attach yourself for happiness. When you go out dating, it's so important to be a cup that's not, I know it sounds so cliche, but literally, if you go out dating with a cup that just has a hole somewhere, and this is emotional trauma that you've been through, and if you're trying not to get to the root of the issue of why you can't contain love, why you can't find a guy, why he doesn't stay, why you can't get past the first couple of dates, there is always a reason why if you're self-aware. So first I wanted to bring up the fact that emotional healing and self-journaling and looking into why it is that you feel that you have to prove yourself, why you feel you're not lovable. This is a hole in your cup. I wish I could come up with a better example, but we'll just go with it. But if you keep dating and you keep having someone else fill your cup, but then it just goes right out because, again, there's a deeper issue. You have to do the emotional healing. Everyone has been through some kind of emotional trauma, whether it be, your first relationship with your parents. Parents aren't perfect. It's understandable, but sometimes people don't realize that they self-sabotage a relationship because there's some things they are feeling and they don't know why, and they unconsciously do that. It is something that is so important to journal and take a look at your dating history and see the reactions that guys gave when you said certain things, when they stopped reaching out. These are so important to take into account and actually really leverage from actual real data. I'm a big fan of actual data when you go out and see what works, what doesn't. I've implemented these tools and it's helped me so much. Besides the fact that I did a year or two ago, I'm a big advocate of therapy, realizing why you are attracting certain guys that are not good quality, why you feel a guy that doesn't have something to offer is something that you're running after. There are so many things that when you have a cup that has a hole and you don't start patching it up and getting less triggered, but understanding why you're getting triggered, self-soothing and doing that work. All these things will lead you to understanding how your heart works and how you can actually let someone in and get the love that you deserve. But again, it's about putting that work in and about being self-aware. It's so important. I wanted to recommend some books for you guys. I've read this book last year. These books are from Barbara DeAngelis. She has a few other books. These came out years ago. I love how she talks about dating and about loving yourself. There's a lot to uncover in this. I'll link them down below. There's also another book, I don't have it offhand, I will also link it. Basically, you read a chapter every week and you do the self-journaling of a certain, to uncover your feelings of why you feel this way, why you attract to this kind of person, and what you can change in the future. Okay, so now I wanted to get into the two tools. These are two ways of thinking and approaching the way you communicate from now on. I think this is so important. First off, it is so important to take responsibility for expressing your needs. In general, living honestly, living a truthful life, especially during dating, it is so important, even the beginning stages. If you're on a first date and there's something that you don't like or you have a certain viewpoint, express it in your feminine energy. It's another video that I want to make and discuss. A really concise points of how being in feminine energy helps you attract a man. It makes you someone that guys want to be with. You are a safe space. You're not someone who is not trusting of men who got burnt, who are out there to attack. Big difference. And expressing your needs with warmth and vulnerability coming from a place that you know that you're human, it's okay. You feel this way, it's okay. When you start expressing what you need, you'll be really surprised how there are many guys who are willing to hear and validate you. I started incorporating this and it was very scary for me. Obviously I went through some traumas where I was scared to speak up. And in the past I might have lashed out. I didn't express myself with warmth and vulnerability. I've learned from those situations. I want to tell you as an example that you can be that kind of person and you can change for the better. And I want you to be secure in yourself. Again, you fill that cup, you patch up that hole of having emotional trauma, maybe in the past not being heard. But then again, going back to your core self-esteem, your self-confidence of knowing that you are enough and that you can express yourself. And again, another important thing is that not everything has to be done that second. It is so important for you to take your time, take your space. So again, do something for you, self-care, and again, assess the situation of what happened and know in the future what to say. Next time, you can always pick yourself up and try again. When you start doing this, stating your boundaries in a nice way, it's going to take practice. I don't want you to give up, but I want you to start now. Even on the first few dates, it's so important. I met a guy recently at a party and there was something I wasn't comfortable with and I liked him and he was really cute, really good looking. But now, these kind of things don't stop me. If something doesn't make sense for me, I will express that. And I did, and I realized he was somebody that wasn't for me, and he wanted my number and he wanted to go out. But coming from this place finally, of being secure in who I am and knowing I can get what I need in a partner, and again, looks aren't everything. I used to be someone who was into looks first and then everything after. Again, that is a huge problem, a huge red flag. But I've learned from that, and now I don't let that hinder me from really getting to know the person and see if he's for me. I stopped putting those kind of people on a pedestal and really use my intuition and started being honest with myself of what I deserve. And it changes everything. It makes you more an attractive person. Guys like when you put a boundary and you state what you're not comfortable with because you're literally telling them how you can help them. And if it's the right guy, they are honored to help you feel safe and validated, and they feel successful in that. They feel like a hero. They feel like someone who's a strong person that you can rely on, that can make you feel safer. I really vouch for this, of expressing your needs, not hiding under the rug, not ignoring the person, and letting them guess what they did wrong. Really not for that. It will not get you anywhere. Second point I want to address was, besides expressing your needs, their needs, and their voice to be heard is so important. Two is staying curious. It is so important to understand another person's perspective, emotional perspective. What's their traumas that they went through? Why do they act the way they act? Maybe they did something that you didn't like. But coming from a place of curiosity, not accusing, not judgmental, just because you don't know what's going on inside and you see their actions, doesn't mean you can take your story and splash it on them, basically, and assume and make a whole story in your head that might not be true. I started implementing this, and it was like 6 months ago because it takes a long time to really get the courage to start using these tools. Going forth, when you're curious, you're like a child. You're not there, again, coming from a place of not trusting because this situation happened to you another time, and last time you lashed out, you hurt the other person because you felt hurt with what action he did. It is so important to sit the person down. Something happens that you want to talk about over maybe the next time you meet over coffee, and come from a place of being calm, come from a place of being secure and knowing you're loved again. This is the root of everything. With curiosity, you start asking questions in a non-accusatory way, and you start active listening. It's not about you, it's about listening to this person's side, where they come from, why they acted the way they did. And when you are trying to understand, you're both coming from different worlds. And that's the only way you can actually get to a point where he can articulate himself more. Guys sometimes take a little more time to articulate. And again, it's important to create a safe space for him. I'm saying him particular because I think guys need a safe space to feel not judged. Because as a guy growing up, there's many things in our community. Guys are told, not to show their feelings. Many of them are more avoidant. Not all of them are. Again, everybody is different. Some guys have done the work, but some guys are good guys that are not really intact with what they're feeling emotionally. And they're out there dating on their own. They're not going through any kind of median. They're not going through any matchmaker. And it's so important that we both take responsibility in expressing what we need. And as a feminine woman, it's so important to create that safe space of coming from curiosity, asking questions, active listening, and stating, is this what you meant? Is this how you felt? And when you get to a point where you both feel heard, you both feel validated, from then on, these two communication tools is a balance, going back and forth and getting to know this person more. And again, not easily being triggered. That comes from emotional trauma, and that's an ongoing process that you should be journaling and going through out this process. And again, every week you should be journaling something that happened during the week and understanding why. You're literally going to find the blueprints to how your heart works. And I know it sounds cheesy, but literally you start understanding why you act the way you act. And you both can discover each other through this relationship and become even stronger. To seal the deal, it is so important to keep on showing appreciation for each other, telling each other that the great qualities that you both have and how you both support each other in life and as a partner. So important. So I hope these tips helped and has changed my relationships and what I'm looking for, going into the future from now on. And yes, please let me know if this has helped you. I will link all my books again down in the description box below. And yeah, until next time, bye.